Luke Hatfield, alongside me, Rosie Swarbrick, our Wolves correspondent here at the Express and Star. Rosie, you've been speaking to Nuno today. How was he?
Yeah, it was all right. It was we got 18 minutes out of him in total, so it was quite a good, lengthy press conference. You know, lots of topics sort of discussed the award nominations for both himself and for Raul Jimenez. You know, the Neves and Moutinho both up for goal of the month. A lot of sort of talking points in today's session. So the unbeaten run that they're on at the moment, you know, Brighton coming up, Graham Potter, there's a few similarities there because he went and worked abroad. Nuno's obviously a Portuguese person who's come over and managed in England, so you know there's a few sort of talking points. It was quite an interesting sort of press conference today.
What was the mood like? I imagine it was fairly buoyant.
Yeah, it was quite relaxed actually, because he gave the players a day off yesterday, so all the players, and I think Nuno as well, had a day off and just had a bit of a relax. It was part of the rest and recuperation day, and they all went and spent time with the families, had a nice day off, so it was kind of a relaxing one, and then they're back on it today, back training, back all that sort of focus. So yeah, he spoke about his pride in the unbeaten run. Obviously, you know, that 10 matches in the top flight, could make it 11 and equal a record from 1962. We've already smashed one from the 70s this week. They could equal a record run from the 1962-63 season, the start of that season, if they obviously remain unbeaten at Brighton. So yeah, there was a lot of good sort of mood. You know, I think he's got a few headaches. He doesn't obviously reveal his own sort of selection headaches, but there's a few sort of we had the conundrum as to who was going to start in defence against West Ham. That was Romain Saiss, who got the nod ahead of Max Kilman straight back into the side. Ryan Bennett came off the bench on Wednesday night, so now does he start Ryan Bennett? Does he put him in? You know, you've got strikers scoring goals. You've got Jimenez, who's obviously getting all the accolades for November. You've got Catrone coming into the mix, scoring on Wednesday night, a really emotional goal. So, you know, does he come in for more sort of, you know, do you put him in? Do you start him, or do you keep him off the bench? There's a lot of decisions across the board to be made, but when you're in a run like this, it's one of those where I don't think you need to change anything.
Yeah, certainly not. And as I said, you know, got the result in midweek. Brighton, of course, they got a big result in midweek. They beat Arsenal. It's not going to be an easy proposition, and Wolves historically not been great in Brighton, have they? Yeah,
they've not had a great sort of record against Brighton. I think it's only 4 league wins they've ever had against Brighton. So, you know, it's one of those historic not so great hunting grounds for them. But I was just talking to Steve Bull for our column that we do every week with Steve, and Steve was saying, you know, those old sort of historic places like Brighton, Burnley, Crystal Palace, they're now, you know, those sort of hoodoos of the past don't really count anymore. It's kind of this is Nuno's team, a fresh team, they're doing so well, and sort of that history doesn't really come into it. It's just sort of looking at it as a fresh sort of Wolves versus Brighton, rather than, they're a bogey team. Nuno will not be looking at this like that. He'll just be looking at it as Wolves versus Brighton, matching up, no talk of like hoodoos or records.
Do you reckon they'll do it? Do you reckon they can go and get a result?
Yeah, I do. I think they responded really well from the Sheffield United game in midweek against West Ham. Performances from Dendoncker, he improved massively from the Sheffield United game. Just a fantastic performance in the centre of defence. The same for Saiss, a fantastic performance. That little rest he had was such a benefit for him, I think, against the Sheffield United game, because we talk a lot about Raul and his travelling, but we can't forget that Saiss has also been travelling to Africa. He travelled to Africa with Morocco, and that was a 22-hour day. We've done a piece on him today in the Express and Star today that says about, you know, sleep being the secret to his recovery. There's a lot of good things going on at Wolves. You know, Adama Traore will have a piece tomorrow in the paper talking about how Nuno even thinks he can get better at this moment in time, and you know, everyone's talking about the former Traore. He's playing so well at the moment. He's such a key figure. Teams, Sheffield United doubled up marking him. You know, West Ham again couldn't cope with him on that right wing, but Nuno still wants his players to improve, and it's all about building that consistency. And I think the big thing that we're seeing from Adama, which is brilliant, is consistently week in, week out, he's bringing it. He's bringing his A game. Other teams don't know how to handle him half the time, and that's one thing that you need to bring if you want to be a success in the Premier League, which is consistency.
Yeah, consistency needed, right? Can Wolves make a happy hunting ground at the Amex? We will find out. For all the latest on them, make sure you stay with expressandstar.com.